Welcome to Alumni Field in Hubbard. This is the site of a Week 9 matchup between the Hubbard Eagles and the Poland Bulldogs. Eagles coming in at 4-4. Poland, fresh off its first defeat, which you might have seen on Armstrong here over the past week or so, losing to Lakeview. Mario, what should we be looking for in this one? It's now kind of up in the air a little bit.
Well, the big thing is Poland's really got to get back into it now. I mean, they've had the loss, so it's really tough to come back, and we're going to see how they answer from coming off a big loss. It's huge.
What do we look for them to reverse their fortunes? What do they have to do that they couldn't do against Lakeview?
Well, the good thing is, Jim, they're not playing a passing team like they did last week against Lakeview. Hubbard, with Coach Hoffman, predominantly running, Tyreek Moore, Davion Daniels, much more of a quarterback-centric running system. So it's going to be a huge difference, unlike Lakeview's passing attack.
Hubbard's actually close in many ways to having a much better record. Their defense has been good and bad. What do we look for on defense?
Well, the thing is, they've really struggled with, to be honest, good teams. And basically every quote-unquote good team that they've played, that's where they've struggled with. But what they've done is teams that they should beat, they've beaten. So, it's a maturation point. Even still here at Week 9, you're growing and you're trying to find your feet. And if you can beat a 7-1 team at home, who knows?
I'm Jim Campbell. This is Mario DiMartino. We'll have the call for you. Hope you enjoy it here on Armstrong.
Breaking Bread is Armstrong's ongoing initiative to help feed the hungry in our community. To date, food and funds have been distributed to over 20 food banks. These organizations need our support throughout the year. Donations can be made at your local Armstrong office. Also, look for special Breaking Bread events in your area. All efforts benefit area food banks and soup kitchens. For more information, like us on Facebook at facebook.com/ArmstrongOneWire.
We are just about set for football at Alumni Field in Hubbard. The Poland Bulldogs will receive the opening kickoff. Hubbard won the toss and deferred. On offense for Poland, the starting quarterback is junior Cole Casco. Starting at tailback tonight, Dante Romano, although we'll see a lot of Jonah Spencer as well. Alec Katsoulis is still listed as the starter at fullback, although last week against Lakeview, Zach Ellis played an awful lot at fullback. The primary wideouts are Mike Diaz, Nathan Alessi, and Dante Russo. On the offensive line, Carson Magni, a 240-pound junior, is the center. The guards are Nick Sabrin, a 275-pound senior, and Tyler Eichert, a 300-pound junior, who steps in tonight for Alex Feliciano, a 330-pound sophomore who's been ill during the week as well as suffering an ankle injury against Lakeview. The tackles are Drew Davies, a 6'3", 290-pound senior, and Jared Carcelli, a 305-pound junior. For Hubbard on defense, the ends are Hunter Meyer. Actually, the end is Tyreek Moore is also on the line there, and Seth, actually, that should be for Hubbard on the line, Joe Bednarik, a 275-pound sophomore at tackle, and Seth Jones, a 210-pound junior at the nose. We'll get the linebackers and secondary for you after the opening kickoff. And it is on the way to the near side and will go out of bounds inside the 20-yard line. The rest of that Hubbard defense, the outside linebackers are Josiah Tarver and Jeremiah Harris. The inside linebackers are Ryan Halovic and Lucas Masora. He has 100 tackles on the season. Ray Manetti and Jared Southern are the corners. The safeties are Davion Daniels and James Reese. Poland will start from the 35-yard line.
Jimmy, talk about Dante Romano, the senior, getting a start tonight. Has very good numbers, as you pointed out, in his own right, with over 550 yards coming into the season, taking over for Spencer.
And he will get the ball on the first play of the game, and he is met at the line of scrimmage and driven back for a loss of not even the length of the football, so we will call it 2nd and 10.
Hubbard led by number 10, Lucas Masora, underclassman for Coach Brian Hoffman, doing a very nice job of filling over on that right side.
Mike Diaz, number 4, to the bottom of your screen, now in motion. Multifaceted player, impact player on defense. This is Romano slipping through a tackle inside the 40 and getting out to the 45, where James Reese brings him down on his 46th tackle of the season.
When it's just a case where Hubbard really brought the blitz on that side from the wide side of the field, and Dante Romano, as he was taking the handoff, just slowly really evaded just at the end. Number 8, Josiah Tarver, a sophomore, coming in off the edge. Could have been a big tackle for loss for Hubbard.
Third and need about the length of the football here. Katsoulis is at fullback and will block for Romano, who is tackled behind the line of scrimmage. And raking through, Lucas Masara came into the ball game with 12 tackles for loss on the season. Chalk up another one there, officially about a yard. It will bring up 4th and 12.
Jim, first opportunity to see Hubbard and Coach Hoffman and their defensive alignment lining up in a 3-4 defense, stacking up those outside linebackers over outside the tackle and the tight end. But they really look like they are very aggressive, bringing a lot of heat and a lot of pressure with their linebackers.
Mitchell Frederick is the Poland punter, averaging a little over 37 yards a kick on the season, and got a clock problem and or delay of game. It is going to be a delay of game.
Well, one of the main things you want to do if Hubbard's going to continue to be this aggressive on defense with this type of blitzing, Jim, one of the main things you can do is change your cadence. The quarterback goes up there and you start to use a little bit of head movement, you change the voice inflection, you change the tempo of your count. Wow.
Terrific punt, very high spiral. Masora at the 20. Looking for running room, and there won't be very much. He averages just under 7 yards a return, and he maybe got 4 there. The Hubbard offense will feature Davion Daniels, a junior at quarterback. That was a 44-yard punt with about a 4-yard return. Tyreek Moorer, a 190-pound senior, is the tailback. The H-back is Luke Masora, 190-pound junior. There is a penalty marker down as well. Slot back is Raymond Nitty, a senior. Shannon Slovesko and Dom Hover are the wideouts, 6'1" and 5'10" respectively. The center is Hunter Meyer, 240-pound senior. The guards, Tom McNichol, a 235-pound senior, and Joe Bednarik, 275, a sophomore. The tackles, Matt Scheidegger, a 255-pound sophomore, and 270-pound junior, Anthony Schaefer, 6'7". Starting from the 14-yard line, and maybe a yard on Daniels' first carry of the ball game. He has rushed now for 690 yards on the season, just over 6 yards a carry.
Design run the entire way, setting up with that empty backfield. No real lead blocker there, just relying on that offensive line to get a good push. Kind of zone, moving over to the right side, and then it's just basically in Daniel's hands to find a hole.
Daniels gives it to Moorer as he tries to stretch it to the right. The Poland defense swarms, and they give the yard back.
Excellent inside pursuit that time by number 90, and Campbell, Scott Campbell, 6'4", 230, had a really active first half last week against Lakeview. He and the other defensive end, and Nick Miller, kind of slowed down in the second half, but obviously, just like they did last week against Lakeview, that defensive front starting off very good. And it'll be key, Jim, to keep Davion Daniels in passing area. I mean, the more you can keep them in long down and distance and force him to pass.
So it is 3rd and 11. They lost 2 there back to the 13. Daniels throws the out. It's complete, but he's not going to get much yardage. Receiver on the play is Shannon Slovesko, his 8th catch of the year. That one's good for 2, an aggressive tackle, and it'll be 4th and 9.
Slovesko ran a very nice route, rangy receiver, 6'1", 215, and I really liked Daniels because even though it was a short pass, trying to set up Slavechko in the flat to maybe break a tackle, get the first down, but he led Slavechko pretty well so he could keep running and then turn the field.
Daniels completing about 55.5% of his passes, has 7 touchdown throws on the year, but has also been picked off 7 times. One of the extra things Poland had to prepare for in this game, Hubbard uses about 4 different punt formations. Side judge throwing a flag there. So even though they don't always do something, a trick play out of a different formation, Poland coach Ryan Williams said it's something that we have to prepare for. It just takes time and practice. Penalty there against Hubbard. So backed up deep. Anthony Corrin is kicking this one, averaging just under 34.5 yards a kick. End over ends this one, out across the 35, 40, 45, rolls into Poland territory, and will roll dead just inside the Poland 45. Turned out to be a decent kick. Timeout on the field. 7:32 to go in the first quarter. Poland getting ready for its second possession in a scoreless ball game with the Hubbard Eagles on the iHeartRadio TV Game of the Week on Armstrong.
Buick and GMC lessees, get to the fall kickoff sale at the Stadium GM Superstore, where you can save thousands right now. Stop in for great lease deals like a new GMC Terrain from only $139 a month with 0 down. A new Buick Encore is now only $149 a month with 0 down. And a new Buick Enclave is now only $169 a month with 0 down. Plus, there is lease pull-ahead available and even 0% financing, which can save you thousands more. All at the store, where 0 down delivers every day. The Stadium GM Superstore in Salem.
Another 44-yard punt sets Poland up at its own 45. This is Dante Romano bouncing off a tackle, running through 2 of them, and finally dragged down from behind by Luke Masora at the Hubbard 39-yard line.
And that's part of it, the blitzing defensive scheme. It's pretty much feast or famine. If you can basically hit that hole where they haven't blitzed, and obviously that's a big if, it really puts your secondary in precarious position because basically you're one-on-one because you've already passed the wave if you hit the hole, and that's a case that Romano did that play.
He's going to get it again, tries to jump over the traffic at the line of scrimmage, pulled down for very short yardage. Zach Ellis, number 44, a sophomore, has checked in at fullback now. That was a gain of just a yard, 2nd and 9.
Number 2, Jared Sullivan, the tackler on the play.
Beautiful pull block that time by Nick Zabrin, number 70, coming over from the right to the left to seal off that defensive end.
Calm, cool night for this football game. The flags are not moving at all. And we may get a timeout here, or we have another clock issue. Poland has called a timeout. And it comes with 6:29 to go in a scoreless first quarter on the iHeartRadio TV Game of the Week on Armstrong.
Hi, Rob Bellman for Boardman Subaru, where we have one of the largest selections of the safest, most award-winning, and fuel-efficient vehicles on the road today. Subarus are rated the safest vehicles, period, with EyeSight technology that gives you an extra set of eyes on the road. KBB rates Subaru as the best overall brand. Most models get over 35 miles per gallon with automatic transmission and all-wheel drive. The all-new Boardman Subaru, just south of Route 224 on South Avenue.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
Poland Bulldogs trotting back out onto the field. Coming out wide right for them is Nate Alessi, 6'4", 205-pound senior. Got man coverage with Ray Manetti. And trying to swing around the right side, Richard Bailey, his 44th carry of the season. Did not have one against Lakeview. Averages almost 8 yards a carry. Barely got one that time. We'll call it 3rd and 7.
And that play is pretty much telegraphed, putting that wide receiver in motion, coming across that quarterback. You get those two, the halfback and the fullback, basically to that wide side of the field, and they're already kind of in motion as lead blockers.
Quick throw, split 2 receivers, and the ball is dropped by Alessi. And it might have been Jared Southern getting a hand in there to help poke it free.
And Jim, I'm going to go more on the other side. I think that was a little bit on Alessi, little case of the dropsy. I thought Cole Costco did a nice job on a real short drop, really driving that ball in between the linebacker and the corner who was behind. Alessi had to actually run a pretty nice inside hard slant route, just didn't catch it.
High snap. Kick is away, also high.
Beautiful.
Wow, a couple Poland players jumped out of the way, took a chance that somebody else would be able to down it deeper downfield, and they did. Ball will be spotted around the 6-yard line. A 31-yard punt. That one wasn't for distance, that was for effect, and the effect is really good.
Yeah, and their punters really had 2 beautiful punts. Some distance and some placement. Hubbard's had, obviously really some horrendous field position here to start.
Well, let's see if the Eagles can dig it out from near their own end zone. All kinds of movement.
Looks like that might be on the tight end of Hubbard. Yep.
False start, so that will take the ball to the 3-yard line.
Looks like the tight end just got a little bit too start trying to kick out the linebacker on that play.
Daniels with the quick read. He may be down in the end zone. Poland signaled safety. The officials say 1-yard line.
And it was just basically the outstretched hand of the quarterback, Devion Daniels, to get that ball out. Good upfield pressure that time by the Poland Bulldogs.
2nd and 15. The the Hubbard offense, rather, it is not a pure option type. You're not going to see them run the line of scrimmage and fire out a late pitch to a tailing running back. Or if you do, you won't see it very often. It's just about the quarterback waiting for a hole to open up to decide whether he's going to run or he's going to hand it off. This time he just kind of follows the flow of his offensive line, winds up being, as you can see, thrown back into the end zone there.
Yeah, Lucas Masora just didn't have a shot. I mean, the offensive line really, even though they've got some decent size, not getting a good push. And in truth, Poland started off very similar last week this same way, with their defense playing incredibly strong, building up an early lead.
The big difference, as you brought out in the pregame comments, Mario, the difference between Hubbard and Lakeview in large measure is that Hubbard does not have that stretch the field capability through the air. That was going to be a quick kick by Daniels, but the surprise is taken away by another penalty flag and another false start. So it's going to be 3rd down and still 15. They're going to be 15 and a half.
Yeah, that one doesn't hurt that bad.
No.
Even though you have the false start.
And the quick kick isn't very good either. So things not going well for Hubbard early, but the Eagles are still scoreless. Ball rolls dead at the 27-yard line, counts as a 26-yard kick.
And that's what makes it a little tough when you're really kind of a one-dimensional team and you really don't pass a lot as part of your main mode, or even basically 60-40 almost, where you're so run-driven and quarterback-driven to the run, once that gets shut down, you're pretty limited. If someone really has the skill set or the technique to stop your running game.
Zach Ellis and Alec Katsoulis in the running set. Katsoulis is going to take a little swing pass, perfectly executed, perfectly thrown, and Katsoulis dropped the football wide open out there. He would have had plenty of running room. He has made 3 receptions this year, averaging 7 yards. His longest was for 3, so Costco has put 2 balls on the money here, his first 2 passes, and they've both been dropped.
I mean, Jim, you hit it there. You set up that running game, set it up, and then you have a beautiful play action off the backs, perfect wide open in the flat.
Same set. Romano straight ahead. Used the blocking of those 2 fullbacks in front of him and then plowed in behind the center of his line. Led by Carson Magni down to the 25. That'll bring up 3rd and 8.
You know, and I can't help but mention, with the loss of the sophomore offensive guard for Poland, depending on how long he is, Alex Feliciano, a huge player up there at 6'3", 330, a real road grader up front for the Poland Bulldogs out tonight.
After that loaded backfield, they go empty backfield. Costco throws it right off the hands of his receiver. That time the guilty party on the receiving end for the Poland Bulldogs was Hubbard Cameron.
I mean, Jim, there are 3 perfectly thrown balls on nice short drops, one the semi-rollout that Cole Costco, obviously it's going to affect their ability to get the first down. It's going to affect his completion percentage. But, you know, mentally, 3 dropsies for the Poland Bulldogs here early in basically really open wide receivers.
Mike Kushner is going to try a season-long field goal here. He's 5 for 6, including a 41-yarder. This is from 42. Plenty of leg and good. Stuck it inside the left upright. An impressive kick. But there is a penalty marker down, a flag at the 25-yard line. Wow.
He really drove the ball beautifully.
He could have hit that from 52.
Beautiful snap, plenty of time to really drive on the ball.
Long snapper is Cade Marakovich. Stephen Bannon handles the holding duties.
And, you know, so much goes into that. I mean, we take it for granted as we watch it and we listen to it, and so much falls on the kicker.
All right, personal foul has been called against Poland. The penalty will be assessed on the kickoff, so the points are on the board.
Not quite yet here at Alumni Field in Hubbard.
Well, theoretically they should now. They've added them, so Poland takes a 3-0 lead. Got the ball at the 27-yard line and had 2 drop passes, sandwiching a 2-yard run.
And it would become so frustrating because your offensive coordinator, your coaches are really calling beautifully plays to set up and to maintain that type of balance that you would want. And you've got a real young man that can chop the football, and Junior Cole Costco doing everything right. It's, boy, just a case of the dropsies.
Well, they had the ball for 55 seconds, went 2 yards in 3 plays, and got the 42-yard field goal. Mike Kushner, again, he's 6 for 7. Quite a weapon.
When it looks like Hubbard, based on that personal foul against Poland, should finally have an opportunity to get some pretty decent field position. Should.
Kicking off from their own 25-yard line are the Poland Bulldogs. It's a pretty good kick. High, driving end over end. Oh, man. See, there's your disaster right there. Ray Manetti. He was 1 step away from being able to field that ball on the fly. and return it. And for some reason chose to let it bounce right in front of him, tried to short hop it and almost gave it away. And so instead of the great field position that you anticipated, Mario, Hubbard starts at its own 15-yard line.
Boy, not only that, I mean, not only the field position, I mean, they almost lost it down there because Manetti, after he missed it initially off the bad hop, tried to pick it up and then advance instead of just falling. Then it went back another 3 to 4 yards, more loss of yards, and here we are.
So Hubbard, which has not been able to generate any offense so far, Davion Daniels hands it off, and this will be a no gain. The knee of Ray Manetti spinning down. Manetti, 22 carries for 104 yards and a couple of touchdowns so far this season, and there's a 4-yard loss on that play.
Boy, and tackle for losses have been pretty common against running against these Poland Bulldogs. Again, Nick Miller, we had talked about Scott Campbell, who also has a tackle for loss here early in the first quarter, playing spectacularly.
Ball back at the 11-yard line.
And then that nose that really Tyler Campbell at 6'2", 245 really tries to tie up the rest of them and let those two rangy guys.
Daniels with the play action. There's a nice catch there, and this will be a first down on a nice run. Yards after catch, the old yak for Ray Manetti. That's his 21st catch of the year. Averages over 17 and a half. That one's good for 14 and a first down at the 25.
I mean, that's the balance that I talk about. It doesn't always have to be chucking down the field and curls and slants and everything else. Just those quick screens, boom, out to the wide receiver. You typically have another wide receiver out there that could be a lead blocker, corner or safeties playing back, depending on which one you play back. It's almost a guaranteed 2 to 3, 4 yards.
Gave a good ball fake, too. Handoff here to Tyreek Moore, and he stumbles and goes down short of the line of scrimmage. Didn't lose much. Moore came in with 689 rushing yards. Also been a, check that, 869 rushing yards, averaging 6 1/3 per carry. Got nothing there. So it's 2nd and 10. Yep. Could see that coming. There was, looked like Poland was going to come with a blitz from the left side. And we have another false start against Hubbard.
Boy, and the interesting thing, and I can't recall it, I don't remember them doing it this much. Poland here seems to be really shifting right before the snap, and I think a lot of these false starts are caused basically by Poland kind of moving right at the end.
Hubbard has rushed 6 times in the ballgame for -7 yards. There's Davion Daniels with the fake and the quick move off the right side of his line, and he's hauled down with, that's called getting to the ball with a bad attitude.
Well, it's not, I mean, Alex Katsoulis was the defensive line went with the offensive line. Davion Daniels tried to break across the grain. Katsoulis was basically waiting right in the hole, perfectly broke down, and boy, what a collision. What a beautiful tackle.
3-yard pickup, and it's 3rd down and a dozen. Daniels to throw, has time, has his man Slavesko, has the first down, is pushed back behind the marker, but it will be a first down as Daniels delivers as Slavesko. Good frame, good target, 6'1", 215. He's 35 pounds heavier than he was as a sophomore. First down at the 36 on the 13-yard hookup.
Slavesko's second catch of the game, and here early on, when Davion Daniels goes back to pass, I'm very impressed with his throwing motion, very overhand, really steps into the ball. And I got to tell you, Hubbard hasn't been able to run block basically at all tonight, but offered excellent pass protection on that last play.
Hubbard is forced to burn a timeout here with just under 32 seconds left in the first quarter, but starting to move the football a little bit. Hubbard coach Brian Hoffman says that there's been some real progress on their offense, in their young offensive line. They've got really good size, but they started out the season quite inexperienced. And to address your point, he says Davion Daniels has made progress as a passer throughout the season. And he said that it's not their bread and butter, but they are capable of big plays. Daniels is 3 for 3 for 29 yards here in the early going.
Yeah, so far I've been really impressed with his ability when he's in the pocket, and that's where his completions have come. It hasn't been on rollouts. It's been him sitting in the pocket, basically out of the shotgun, hardly any drop once he receives the ball. Good pass protection on the offensive side.
The fake handoff was to Masora. Daniels keeps it and shakes his way out to about the 38 or so. Maybe the last play of the first quarter.
Wow. Boy, it's been a dominant run by that Poland defensive line, especially against the run. Hubbard's first downs have come via the passing game, but really outstanding up-front run stoppage by the Poland Bulldogs.
Second and a long 7 coming up when the second quarter starts here at Hubbard. The Eagles, despite being stuck deep in their own territory throughout the first quarter, have only surrendered 3 points at the end of 1. It's Poland 3, Hubbard nothing. This is the iHeartRadio TV Game of the Week on Armstrong.
Armstrong's Healing Heroes aims to donate 5 dogs to area veterans suffering from PTSD, seizure disorders, and more, in conjunction with Guardian Angels Medical Service Dogs. Here's how to help. Visit your local Armstrong office to make a donation, or go to www.medicalservicedogs.org and choose Armstrong as the designation. You can also mail donations to the address on your screen. For more information, visit us on Facebook. Together, we can unleash the power to heal.
Second quarter begins. Hubbard in a second down and 8. A little less than that maybe. And this time, wow, I think Poland got away with being offside. This is Ray Maniti weaving his way through the defense out close to the 45-yard line and give the Eagles a 3rd and short.
And I really believe just that the changing of the tempo, the changing of their count really disrupted that Poland defense, allowing them to finally get to that edge and get some positive in the running game.
Did I say Maniti? I meant Masora, 10. Well, there you go again.
Jim, it is really that motion,
shift, right?
The shift by Poland's defense has really caused some problems for that Hubbard offensive line. That's no less than their 3rd illegal procedure, I believe.
Now you go from 3rd and 1 to 3rd and 6. 7th penalty already against Hubbard. And coming off the field for Hubbard, we were told, Coach Hoffman said that Seth Jones, number 45, who trotted off the field, would wear number 57 tonight. But he apparently is wearing 45. The officials had to be notified because it's an eligible number, but he is out there on the offensive line playing tackle. Play action fake. Good throw over the middle. Nice clean tackle, but a first down. The catch made by Dom Hover, just his 3rd of the year, but well-run pattern and a really good throw by Daniels, 12-yard pickup.
Boy, and Hubbard is one of the only teams really that I can recall this year that runs out of that trips formation where they overload, use the tight end to the basically the opposite side of the 3 trips receivers. Some real crossing action. Daniels, again, excellent offensive line protection, set in the pocket and really drove the ball in the deep crosser.
First down. Ooh. Daniels almost lost the football on the fake to the running back, and by the time he gained control, the defense was there, and it's a 2-yard loss.
When another tackle for loss for Scott Campbell and Nick Miller up front. And I like the decision of Daniels because, Jim, once he fumbled it, really didn't try and he gained control and still had some time. Didn't try and roll all the way out and lose a bunch of yards. Just kind of fell on it and fight to play another down.
Daniels with time throws. Slavesko with a nice catch, close to a first down at the 39. He'll be about a yard short. Slavesko showing good hands.
Jim, and I got to tell you, if obviously Coach Hoffman watched the Lakeview film last week, that was truly a weakness that Poland exhibited last week in their secondary, the inability to cover receivers in space. And they've got some good athletic kids, some real rangy, big kids, and just not making the plays in the secondary.
That was a shocker, too, because they really thought that secondary was their strength. First down and more on a bruising run this time by Luke Masora.
And I think so much of this is set up really by the... Oh, we have a flag down.
Oh, what a surprise.
Really by the development, just what I'm viewing, of Davion Daniels in the passing game and the surefire catching so far here in the first half of his Hubbard receivers.
Well, it's a first down. They took it, that'd be a, where are they going to mark it? At the 20, oh, the penalty marker, though, is way back upfield, so. Yeah.
Hubbard contingent not very pleased with that call. What is that, the 8th? 9th penalty.
9th already. Back to the...
9th for Hubbard or 9th total in the game?
For Hubbard.
Wow.
So it takes it all the way back to the 49-yard line and brings up 3rd and 13 after a first down.
Boy, and I mean, they're not even hidden. You talk about the yards, that cumulative effect that you're fighting that uphill battle. Couple that with the poor field position they've had. Whew.
Daniels with 4 wide receivers. Offensive line does a good job, and he almost threw that one right to linebacker Eric Shipsky for Poland. It would have been his first interception of the year. Poland has a plus 17 in the turnover margin.
Well, Jim, and what I can notice on that, that's the first really poor pass, poor decision, not even poor pass, really poor decision that Davion Daniels has made in the passing game. First time also that he's kind of tried to roll out and throw a little bit more on the run. Offensive line still had given him pretty ample protection, but good coverage by Poland.
Lazy snap. Gets it out of there nicely, does Daniels. Taken by his like number 4 at the 20-yard line and tackled from behind just short of the 35-yard line as Mike Diaz just about hits his 15-yard punt return average. Poland gets it back, 8:42 to go. First half, Bulldogs lead it 3-0 on the iHeartRadio TV Game of the Week on Armstrong.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
All right, we have a penalty on that play against Poland. It's a 15-yarder. And that creates a first down.
Boy, huge break for the Hubbard Eagles. Pushing Poland back a little bit.
Well, they were shooting themselves in the foot with penalties. Got the benefit of one here, allows them to keep the football. Yeah, they got a false start in the backfield. I didn't see a flag this time. Oh, I see. Never mind. Poland did get the football. And we have an official down.
That little quick hitter to that fullback that Poland ran with pretty much success to Zach Ellis, where it's just a simple turn by Cole Costco, hands it off to that fullback. Real quick hitter.
So Poland did get the football at the 35. I'm actually not sure I understand what happened there. Romano spins out of a tackle behind the line of scrimmage, another one across the line of scrimmage, and gets the first down inside the Hubbard 45 to the 43.
Boy, and sophomore Joe Bednarik of Hubbard had done such a good job of getting upfield penetration for the Hubbard Eagles. Was right there, gotten his hand off the defensive lineman, had an opportunity to make the play on Dante Romano, and just couldn't close it out.
First down at the Hubbard 42 after the 13-yard ramble.
And some really good second effort running that time by Dante Romano.
He got off to a slow start in the Lakeview game and then came on strong in the second half. Romano again using his blocks terrifically. And all the way down to the Hubbard 25-yard line on the cutback.
Boy, terrific twin tight end setup, and then basically bringing up people towards that line of scrimmage, lining up with that two tight end set with number 80 and 85. Really good dot, great cross blocking, setting it up for Romano.
Dante Russo and Nick Miller, the two players in question there, out of the eye. Romano again tackled from behind as he got back to the line of scrimmage. And there's more laundry out there right at the point of attack.
Whew. I didn't think it could get any worse than it did last week in the Lakeview game, but the cloth on the ground.
And Poland's going to back up this time. And the Hubbard fans below us celebrate as they finally get one in their favor. Puts the ball back at the 35-yard line and makes it first down and 19. Is this a broken play? If so, Costco, another drop pass. Defender was there to get a hand in. The Poland receiver was Nate Alessi.
I just can't even believe it. I mean, it's a beautiful throw on a really delayed post route, and Cole Costco kind of drops it in right there. And the cornerback had really good coverage. Jared Southern had really good coverage running right behind.
Costco's 0 for 4. 3 of them are drops. Fires it out to the sure-handed Mike Diaz. Fired it a little hard, and Diaz couldn't field the hot potato.
And that was probably one of the first ones on the designed inside screen to that receiver that probably threw it a little hot coming at him, a little bit behind. So I'm not going to place that one basically on the receiver. But it's going to set the after a drive that really looked pretty promising.
Hubbard late getting one of its defenders off the field, Jeremiah Harris.
2 deep zone defense for Hubbard, 2 safeties way back.
Costco.
Screen
coming. Well executed. Gets it underneath to Romano, but the defense executes well. And Romano fights his way to the 30-yard line where it will be fourth down.
And Josiah Tarver, sophomore linebacker, did a really good job of reading that out. Not believing the offensive linemen as they were kind of half blocking up there to set up the screen. It's a case where I think Costco kind of got into his drop a little bit much. Tarver, linebacker, very good read to see what was happening and step up and make the play.
Well, feeling good about a 47-yard field goal. Oh, no, they are going to punt it. Thought they might think about kicking a long field goal. Mitchell Frederick hangs this one up, bounces at the 5, then comes back upfield. Poland finally, they let it go. They touched it, I thought, maybe not. Let it go, and then a risky move by a Hubbard player covers it, and Hubbard will wind up with the ball around the 11-yard line or thereabouts. 6:09 to go in the first half. Hubbard, as usual, gets the ball deep in its own territory. Still trailing only 3-0 on the iHeartRadio TV Game of the Week on Armstrong.
Hi, Rob Bellman for Boardman Subaru, where we have one of the largest selections of the safest, most award-winning, and fuel-efficient vehicles on the road today. Subarus are rated the safest vehicles, period, with EyeSight technology that gives you an extra set of eyes on the road. KBB rates Subaru as the best overall brand. Most models get over 35 miles per gallon with automatic transmission and all-wheel drive. The all-new Boardman Subaru, just south of Route 224 on South Avenue.
Find new roads and get to the fall kickoff sale at the Stadium GM Superstore, where you can save thousands right now. Stop in for great lease deals like a new Chevy Malibu from only $179 a month with 0 down. A new Silverado is now only $189 a month with 0 down. And a new Chevy Traverse is now only $199 a month with 0 down. You can even buy a new Cruze for only $15.9. Plus, there is lease pull-ahead available, all at the store where 0 down delivers every day. The Stadium GM Superstore in Salem.
Hubbard Eagles from their own 10-yard line. Quick handoff. Right up the middle, Luke Masora out from the 10 to about the 14.
Boy, and the thing is, that's where they've had really the most success, giving it to a back. Tyreek Moore coming in as their basically leading rusher on the season, but Masora's really kind of taken over that role here, having a pretty good first half.
That is Davion Daniels, the quarterback. You see joining the huddle and following him into the ball game is Ryan Halovic, number 9. Shannon Slavesco, who's had a couple of nice receptions, went wide right, and Hubbard will take a timeout here. We'll keep it here. 2nd and 6, just under 5.5 minutes to play in the first half. Hubbard's coach, Brian Hoffman, told me as we were getting ready for this ball game that one of the things that his team has not yet learned to do is to win the close ones. They've had some close games, but by the same token, and one of those actually was Lakeview, lost 7-6. I think they missed a couple of field goals in that one. The same 7-6 team, Lakeview, that beat Poland in week 8 with the biggest offensive onslaught of the season, scoring, what was it, 30, was it 35?
Yep, 30-35.
35, and Poland had not given up more than 14 points in a game prior to that.
You know, and there's a lot to be said. Basically, their losses have come to teams with really, really good records, and to be in those games says a lot about your team because you're not getting blown out by good teams, but the other side is just not enough to finish those games.
2nd and 6, they faked the jet sweep, and somebody reached out with a one-arm tackle and spun Daniels around, and he winds up sitting down at the 14. No gain. 3rd and 7. Well, they give him a yard, so it'll be 3rd and 5.
Yeah, and whoever that Poland defender was really showed incredible hand strength to be able to grab a jersey as you're getting blocked and kind of swing him down.
Daniels is now in positive rushing yardage. 1 net yard rushing on 6 carries. Daniels whispering to his running back Masora. Drops to throw. Screen is set up. Pass is complete to Masora, but a good tackle will keep the Eagles from getting a first down. Masora pulled down at the 16-yard line, maybe the 17, but it'll be 4th down.
Boy, and Nick Miller, really great position, reading that screen, breaking down to make the play. Great tackle in open space, because that's basically Hubbard had set up perfectly the way they'd want it. The offensive line had gotten out in front. Just an incredible play by Nick Miller.
4th and 2 from the 17. Daniels not doing the punting here. It's Anthony Corbin, I believe. Boy, those snaps are very soft and a very short kick, but it takes a Hubbard bounce into Poland territory all the way to the 48-yard line.
Boy, and Hubbard, I mean, Poland has really had the advantage of some wonderful field position tonight, and to really have only capitalized by having 3 points on the board. I mean, it's better than nothing, but with the opportunities that they've had.
It was a 35-yard punt. No return, obviously.
And on the flip side, with the way that Hubbard has given up the field position, has had horrendous field position, to be only down 3 in this game really says a lot about them.
Play action, deep throw by Costco. Diaz open, makes the fingertip catch and is rolled down inside the 10-yard line.
An incredible inside-out route, that time by Mike Diaz. Started to go to the post on the inside, hard, deep slant, then ran out to the flag and really got Davion Daniels, the safety back there, really twisted up. And, you know, I love the way Cole Costco lofted that ball right in there for an opportunity for Diaz to just kind of run under it. Very smooth.
44-yard completion, 1st and goal, Poland at the 8. This is Romano. Skips to the outside, slips, ball loose, dives back on it, just short of the 15-yard line.
I cannot believe the quicks of Romano. He was headed to the outside, basically had got to the 7, fumbled the ball, changed directions, and still beat people to the football to just fall on it.
Loses 6, back to the 14. It's 2nd and goal from there.
And that was it, basically going in for a touchdown, because he had the angle on the corner who had taken a real hard inside route to the end zone.
Zach Ellis lined up at fullback in front of Romano. Costco under center. Fake to Romano. Costco rolls, throws underneath, and jumping over a tackle and into the end zone is Dante Russo with his 3rd touchdown catch of the season.
Jim, I just think Cole Costco is outstanding. The touch, the ranginess, his size, the mechanics. I mean, look at their receivers. I mean, Dante Russo, you know, I believe he had the touchdown last week down deep, one of the first ones. A rangy receiver at 6'4", 220, the ability to block. I mean, those are few and far between at the Division IV level, at the high school level. He is a true weapon.
And what he has shown is that after having passes, 3 right on the money passes dropped, hasn't affected his confidence. He's still, and that one to Diaz took a little bit of a special catch. Extra point attempt is on the way. Mike Kushner succeeds, and Kushner now on the season for the Bulldogs is 40 out of 42 on the quote automatic extra point, and Poland now leads 10-0 with a little less than 3 minutes to go in the first half.
I mean, that beautiful play action, you set that up with the running of Russo, the play action, people bite on it, the tight end drags across the field, basically runs empty, and the touch and the play fake. I love how Costco rolls out, throws it with just touch. I mean, when he needs to throw it soft, throws it soft. When he needs to put a little pepper on it, really does a nice job.
52 yards, only 3 plays, 1 minute used on the clock. Costco has hit his last 3 passes after going without a completion in his first 5 attempts.
I mean, can you tell I love a beautiful passer? I mean,
it is a thing of beauty.
It is just so pretty to watch a kid go back there and develop and space and the different ways they can throw it with either strength or some touch.
Well, the thing, too, is that quarterbacks these days, I mean, you've always had strong arm guys, but as the game has grown more sophisticated, their IQ has to go up to be able to find those receivers. They're being asked to read more progressions, and taken at the 13 here by Luke Masora. Waited for a block around the 25 and then burst through it to get an extra 10 yards on the return.
Boy, Masora's very fortunate, though, because he almost got stripped. He lost that ball a little bit, had a little bit of a juggle. One of the defenders kind of stripped him coming up the field. Wow, Hubbard's finally going to have some breathing room, some decent field position to start here.
Starting from its own 34 after the 20-yard return by Luke Masora, who came in having returned only 3 balls for an average of 11. Play action fake, quick throw to the outside to Ray Minetti. He does a little jitterbug step and manages to fight his way across midfield, actually just short of midfield before being sort of horse-collared out of bounds.
And now I got to tell you, really good strength that time by Mike Diaz, because he had really turned that corner, had Minetti, and looked like he was going, but wow, the hand strength of Diaz. A nice touch, though. I mean, really nice touch from Davion Daniels. Again, when he just sits in that pocket and reads, beautiful touch out to Minetti.
And what kind of feeling do you think that gives the Eagles? They've got their quarterback back next year and those big underclassmen on the offensive line. Daniels on the rollout, little flip, finds Minetti, who juggles the ball and made the catch before falling out of bounds.
Yeah, Minetti really kind of squatted down by the sideline.
Yep, never mind. There's a flag.
You know, a little tough, though, that time for Daniels. You can tell when he really can't set and throw, the ball kind of came out a little quacky. But Minetti did a good job of double catching it and bringing it down, even though it's going to come back. Yep. You going to be on Poland?
Well, that's a good question now.
Yeah, looks like it's going to be on Poland.
Maybe roughing the passer, late hit.
I've been really impressed.
Well, they're going to mark it off from the. This is really weird.
Yeah, dead ball. Must have been after the fact.
So, the completion took the ball to the Poland 39, and then a penalty, or 38. And he actually marked off a 16-yard penalty there from where he started. But in any case, the ball is now at the Poland 23-yard line. Still almost 2.5 minutes to play in the first half that has had some wacky moments. Masora. Daniels keeps it, gets a good block on the corner, then turns it up and gets inside the 20 down to the 19.
How about the play fake by Masora? And then Daniels to kind of tuck that ball, hide it off the play fake to Masora. My eyes went with Masora on the inside run. Beautiful fake that time by Daniels.
That is what I was trying to describe earlier in the way of not being the quarterback has the option there, but instead of stringing it out before making a decision, that decision is made early, whether he's going to keep it or his running back gets to keep it on the fake. Daniels on second down, throws the screen, lobbed it over a defender who is in great position. This is Masora, bumped out of bounds, but it should be first and goal here, or very close to, because it's right around the 10.
Beautiful route that time by Masora on the little bubble out to the flank. Really, and then Nick Miller did a great job of trying to jump for the ball. The touch that time by Daniels to just loft it over enough. The receivers to that side, one on the inside slant, one going deeper to clear out the corner and the outside linebacker, basically leaving Masora open on the flank. Beautiful drive.
A running team has all of its first downs, 6 of them on the pass tonight. Daniels was going to, he gets away. Back to the 15, to the 10, and then is pulled down around the ankles, around the 8-yard line. Nice tackle by cornerback Bill Orr.
And that's Daniels, one. I mean, what do we say about that? I mean, you can't teach that.
Nope.
There's no amount of practice you're going to do against that. That's God-given of a young man's ability to bounce and just keep a play alive. Beautiful play by Davion Daniels.
Second and goal from the 9. That could have been a 6, 7, 8-yard loss. Daniels to throw into the end zone again, flipped it over a defender, and the pass is complete to Dom Hover, his first touchdown catch of the season.
I mean, the touch that he just exhibited, in front of the corner, over the backer, in front of the safety, right there. And then basically the fearlessness of Dom Hover, the senior, undersized, running that hard slant route in traffic, and the beautiful hand catch. What a drive. I mean, they've got a real weapon. I mean, if they utilize Davion Daniels with the good pass protection that offensive line has done.
Now, they've had some issues in their placement game that they think they have straightened out. Looks like they do there. Of course, they lost a great kicker from last year, senior Colin Burdett, who is now behind Zach Kennedy at YSU. But that one is good by Chase Powell, a freshman kicker who is 9 of 10 on conversions now. And Hubbard has battled right back into this ball game with just under a minute to go in the first half, trailing 10-7. Let's see, that is Daniels now is 10 of 11 throwing the ball. And it's been all just short.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, he's challenged a little bit downfield. It's not that everything's been screen passes to the outside. I mean, he's thrown some beautiful passes in the pocket, in traffic, where his receivers have been challenged to make catches. And the other side of this is, I mean, the blueprint against good teams has basically been written last week against Lakeview. The best way to move the ball against the Poland Bulldogs is basically through the air. I mean, challenging the secondary, running some developed routes, giving your quarterback just enough time to find a receiver, flooding areas. I mean, it has worked pretty well now for 6 quarters.
66 yards, 6 plays, 1 minute and 47 seconds, just under a minute to play in the first half. Kickoff taken at the 26. Looking for running room and reversing and being pulled down from behind by Halavik is Ben Marucci.
Boy, if you just take Davion Daniels' passes for the season at 101 attempts, I mean, he's already at halftime, he's already basically over his average per game.
Also has 98 yards. His percentage is way up. He came in hitting about 55% of his passes. .2 seconds, and a big threat stretch the field team in Poland 61 yards away. Costco has a man wide open on the sideline, and spinning out of bounds to stop the clock is Mitchell Frederick, their punter, making his 4th reception of the season.
Boy, and that one was it was a beautiful throw, and they got it to Frederick there, but that's a really late read by Cole Costco because Frederick was open, and it was just a case where Costco looking downfield, trying to challenge, and sometimes you just got to take what they're giving you because Hubbard playing back, being basically happy to keep everything in front of them, just take what they give you. If they want to give it to you, take it.
Frederick did a good job getting out of bounds. There's Diaz, drops the football.
And on that one, though, it's probably best that he did. Yeah. The secondary was really closing in on him pretty quick, and that basically saves Poland a timeout with 2 left still in their pocket.
So they're in a 3rd and 2 situation, are the Bulldogs, with 34.7 seconds to go before halftime. Getting a great battle from this Hubbard football team. A very different kind of team than the one they faced against Lakeview in week 8. This game isn't quite as physical. Cole Costco gets the time, delivers that time a little high, and Dante Aruzo was unsuccessful in making the one-hand grab. It'll be 4th down.
I mean, that was probably one of the first ones really little too hot, little too high. Aruzo made a very good effort, though, on that crossing route. I mean, he's a very underutilized weapon, in my opinion, from now this being the 3rd game that I've seen of the Poland Bulldogs, opening week against Marlington, last week against Lakeview, and now against the Eagles for a half.
Averages over 15 yards a catch, has great size.
Yeah, shows good speed.
This is a nice punt. Nobody back to go get it. Gets a good pull and roll. Inside the 10, down to the 5. Not that it's going to make any difference. Hubbard will, I'm sure, be thrilled to get out of here trailing 10-7 at halftime. 48-yard punt.
Yeah, if Poland would have had one more timeout, could have possibly tried to pin them deep. I imagine Coach Hoffman will just kneel on the ball here and get out of here. Yeah, but you know what? I always wondered, if you have the timeouts left, you never know. I mean, if you never know if you're going to get a fumbled snap, you're down deep, burn them up. Make them play out the string.
Yeah, that's true.
There could be a fumbled snap. Who knows?
Daniels will go under center here. And will take the knee. And that will bring the first half to an end. So, after some offensive frustration, the Hubbard Eagles put together a nice drive, helped out by a big Poland penalty, but it was a solid drive, all and of its own, and it carved into a 10-point Poland lead. So at halftime, the Poland Bulldogs trying to bounce back from their first defeat of the season, clinging to a 10-7 lead against the Hubbard Eagles, who will be trying to go over 500 on the year, seeking their 5th win in 9 tries. I'm Jim Campbell with Mario DiMartino. This is the iHeartRadio TV Game of the Week on Armstrong.
Healing Heroes is an opportunity for Armstrong and our communities to give back. We've partnered with Guardian Angels Medical Service Dogs, which rescues, raises, and individually trains the highest caliber service and assistance dogs at their facility in Williston, Florida. They are then paired with veterans with disabilities such as PTSD, seizure disorders, and more. If you would like to help, visit facebook.com/Armstrong1Wire and click the Healing Heroes tab. Together, we can unleash the power to heal.
The Poland Bulldogs and the Hubbard Eagles getting ready for another half of football. The first one was penalty marred, but interesting nonetheless. Poland wound up outgaining Hubbard, but not by much. Poland held to just 132 yards in total offense in the first half. Hubbard managed 107. Poland on the ground, only 62 yards in 12 carries. Dante Romano carrying the load tonight, literally, with 53 yards on 10 carries. Nothing going on for Hubbard on the ground. Davion Daniels, their quarterback, the Eagles' leading rusher, 4 net yards on 9 carries. Through the air, Poland's Drew Kosko has hit on 4 of 11 passes for 70 yards, 1 touchdown. Daniels, meanwhile, for Hubbard, has gone 10 of 11 for 98 yards with a touchdown. His leading receiver is Ray Minetti with 3 catches for 40 yards. However, Shannon Slavesko has shown good hands on catching 3 balls for 26. Nobody for Poland has more than 1 reception. First downs, Poland had only 4. Hubbard had 7, 1 on penalty, 6 of them through the air. This for a rushing team. So penalties, by the way, Poland 4 for 45 yards, and Hubbard, after a wickedly awful start in the first quarter, was limited to 7 penalties, and it wound up being for just 45 yards. Hubbard, by virtue of winning the toss and deferring prior to the ball game, will now get a chance to start the second half with the football and trailing just 10-7. And with that promising drive late in the first half, Mario, this is a really good scenario for the Eagles.
Absolutely. I think they've found a formula for this game anyways that works for them. And I think it would almost be silly for the coaching staff to not utilize what has clearly been working and go against what hasn't been working. I mean, it's very simple. You can see the stats have dictated what is happening, what works and what doesn't.
Here is the opening kickoff for the second half, taken by the do-all Luke Masora at the 10. cruise out to about the 30. Masora is supposed to be a starting H-back, but he wound up replacing Tyreek Moorer at tailback in the first half. Davion Daniels, the quarterback, Ray Minetti in the slot, Shannon Slavesco and Dom Hover are the primary receivers. Hunter Meyer, the center, Tom McNichol and Joe Bednarik, the guards. Matt Scheidegger and Anthony Schaefer, all 6'7", 270 pounds of him, the tackles. So Hubbard starts at its own 36-yard line. And play action fake. Just out of the reach, and we have a late flag behind the play. Slavesco was the intended receiver, ball thrown a little bit low and outside.
Well, it's going to be interesting. I wonder if this is holding way in the backside.
Yeah, it would have to be. The play went to the far hash. The flag was thrown basically on the near hash. And Hubbard.
Still waiting. Oh.
There you go. Illegal man downfield.
And that was a good call because number 70 said Scheiniger was at least 5 yards basically downfield. I had missed that one. Slavesco was open though. I mean, it was a nice throw, throwing it to the outside, pretty low, but it was definitely a catchable ball for Slavesco.
Penalty takes the ball back to the 26-yard line.
Poland changing their defensive sides a little bit.
Little flip out to Ray Minetti. Accelerates quickly, and then his momentum is shifted toward the boundary, and out of bounds he goes. Nick Miller is the guy that changed Minetti's path, but he showed good acceleration through a small hole there and gains 8.
Boy, Poland, as I had mentioned a little bit earlier, had changed a little bit of their defensive lineup on these last couple plays, obviously making an adjustment from the passing game that Hubbard's exhibited, dropping 2 safeties back on the hash marks, basically 2 deep, playing a little bit deeper, cornerbacks playing off.
Daniels on the run after the fake to Masora. That will not be good enough for the first down. In fact, it will leave the Eagles in a 3rd down and 3.
Boy, and rangy quarterback Bill Orr, 6'1", 165, a senior for Coach Williams, did a nice job at his cornerback position coming up as he read Davion Daniels trying to hit that corner, fighting off the block of Slavesco to stop that for a very minimal gain.
In that secondary for Poland, Nathan Alessi and Bill Orr at the corners, Brandon Behringer and Hayden Keshek at the safeties. 3rd and 3, Masora pounds into the middle, and he appears he's going to be just short.
Oh, that is going to be
close. It's going to be very close.
Yeah, and that was an interesting play, and I'm thinking they got it really on the second effort.
Yeah, just barely got it. When the side judge first started to walk in, he was behind the 41-yard line, and as you can see, that ball actually is spotted just across the 41.
And it looked like the Poland defenders had actually got up underneath him with Katsoulis and company, but that's really good second effort by Masora.
First down.
Oh, my gosh.
And that is a penalty that was repeated over and over again in the first half for Hubbard. This time, Ryan Halovic is the guilty party, but Poland shifts on defense, and one of the tight ends jumps offside.
Yeah, you talk about self-destructive behavior, and our statistician, Len Gessler, what's he got as far as penalties, Jim?
He was just showing me that is the first rushing first down achieved by Hubbard in the ballgame. 6 by throw. 1st and 15. Daniels throws it into no man's land after double clutching. 9
penalties on Hubbard, and if I'm not mistaken, and obviously you guys know my memory's not that great, but that's at least 4 on the shift by Poland that has caused an offensive person for Hubbard to start early.
I'd back you up on that.
Thanks, Bev.
3rd down, make that 2nd down and 15 for the Eagles.
More support than I get at home.
We can wipe that right off the tape.
Yep.
Don't worry about it.
Good old Greg.
Nice hard run, and diving out across the 45-yard line is Luke Masora. That was probably a 2-yard loss until he changed his mind about where he was going to go down. It's still going to be third and about 6.
I mean, Masora is 5'10", 190, underclassman, and Scott Campbell, 6'4", 230, did everything. Got deep penetration, got low, wrapped him up, just couldn't finish the play. Scott Campbell did everything you would want that you would teach on a film or give to a young man to do on film study. Masora, a great second effort.
And Scott Campbell does not miss many tackles. He came in with 35, 3 sacks, 5 tackles for loss on the campaign.
Boy, and that young man as an underclassman, in the games that I've seen, he has been a true difference maker for this Poland defense.
6'4", 230, so he's maybe even got some growth. There's the fake to Masora, flip to the sideline, and a great catch on the far side. No, picked off. It was a great catch, apparently by the defense.
Jim, just a really tough throw that time by Davion Daniels. Just basically lofted it up to nobody. I didn't even really see a Hubbard receiver around that area. At least 2 Poland defenders. And I think it goes back to a little bit about what I was talking about in the first half. And they're going against what was successful. What was successful was Davion Daniels in the pocket. Good protection, and they had created pockets, and he was able to throw. What happened there?
Somebody did make a catch.
Yeah, it was definitely Poland interception.
Oh, there we go. Okay. This is Dante Romano ducking under a tackler as he turns the corner, gets to the 49, a pickup of about 4.
And a beautiful change of direction by Romano. Really, it initially had looked like it was between the center guard gap, then did a hard bounce to the edge, and then another super cut inside to gain some good yardage.
Poland offense, run by Cole Kosko at quarterback, Dante Romano at tailback. Right now, 2 fullbacks. Alex Katsoulis is one of them. This is Romano on his own to the edge, inside the 35, inside the 30, and down at the 26-yard line. They went away from those 2 big fullbacks, and Romano showing great wheels with another big gain.
Jim, there was a mauling on the field by Dante Russo, the tight end, who had knocked out the outside linebacker with a beautiful pancake, allowing Romano to hit that corner. I mean, a beautiful block.
23-yard run by Romano puts the ball at the Hubbard 26.
Incredibly tight splits by that Poland offensive line.
Oh. This is Richard Bailey getting his 2nd carry of the night. He ad-libs and gets down to the 20-yard line.
Some good strength up front now by this Poland offensive line, which was so stagnant in that first half. Drew Davies, Jared Carcelli, obviously losing Alex Feliciano, the sophomore guard for this Poland offensive team. But really starting to get some good upfield push by that Poland offensive line.
Feliciano, indication I got when I talked to Coach Williams was that Feliciano could be good to go for week 10. But in addition to his ankle injury suffered against Lakeview, he battled with the flu during the course of the week and wasn't able to practice. Poland winds up burning a timeout here in a 2nd and 4 with some possible confusion. So 8:17 to go, 3rd quarter. Poland 10, Hubbard 7 on the iHeartRadio TV Game of the Week on Armstrong.
Buick and GMC lessees. Get to the fall kickoff sale at the Stadium GM Superstore, where you can save thousands right now. Stop in for great lease deals like a new GMC Terrain from only $139 a month with 0 down. A new Buick Encore is now only $149 a month with 0 down. And a new Buick Enclave is now only $169 a month with 0 down. Plus, there is lease pull-ahead available and even 0% financing, which can save you thousands more. All at the store, where 0 down delivers every day. The Stadium GM Superstore in Salem.
After the timeout, Poland ready to go in a 2nd and 4 from the Hubbard 20. Hubbard front jumps, fake the blitz, toss sweep. This is Bailey trying to get to the outside. Got a good block, but the defense fights it off well. Zach Ellis, number 44, sophomore fullback, was trying to give Bailey some extra running room. It winds up, however, being about a 3-yard gain. Maybe more than, 3, because it's 3rd and 1.
And Jared Southern, the cornerback on that wide side of the field, did such a nice job of stringing out that play, staying lateral, forcing that, basically the back to continue to bounce to the edge, fighting off the block of Zach Ellis.
Mike Diaz coming out wide to the left to the bottom of your screen and just straight ahead for Poland and Cole Casco, but a penalty marker is down behind the line of scrimmage on the near side.
Quick start by Poland? I think.
An illegal shift called against the Bulldogs, so they go from a 3rd and 1 to a 3rd and 6.
Just tried to get to that line of scrimmage real quick. Someone got a little bit of an early head start, it looked like.
Called it on Dante Romano, the running back. So the ball now sitting at the 22-yard line. Backs in an eye. Diaz the lone split. Casco throws underneath, and a broken tackle is going to result in a 1st down.
Boy, Jim, and their tight end is such a weapon. Dante Russo is really a tough guard for any defense. His ability in the run game as a run blocker, and then to stretch a defense, getting out in the flat, usually from what we've seen in our games that we've covered with them, very sure-handed. A true weapon that I think could really be utilized a lot more by this Poland offense.
Romano fights his way through a tackle, but there was help there. And the gain is held to right around 3 yards to the 10, where it will be 2nd and 7.
Tackled by number 29.
Poland really likes to line up with that 2 tight end set, getting Zach Ellis as another kind of almost a 3rd tight end out on that end with that single back.
Both teams going out without their featured running backs tonight. Tyreek Moore's only had a couple of snaps for Hubbard. Bailey gets the jet sweep handoff, and Hubbard is all over it for a 4-yard loss.
Boy, Jeremiah Harris, sophomore, number 20, really cutting in at a beautiful low tackle.
Loss of 3 on the play.
They're going to mark it at the 13, loss of 3, so it's 3rd and 10. Poland without its number 1 tailback, Jonah Spencer. And Coach Williams had told me that Spencer was available to play tonight, wasn't going to start, but didn't indicate that we wouldn't see him through 2.5 quarters. Empty backfield. Casco has the time, rifles it incomplete. Looks like the receiver fell down. It's the 2nd time tonight that a guy that doesn't even show really up on their depth chart, Cameron Hubble, was the apparent intended target and didn't get to the football.
It just seemed to got caught up in the wash with the Hubbard linebackers. One of the few times tonight that Poland's gone empty. No backs in the backfield with that 5-wide set.
So for the 2nd time tonight, Mike Kushner will attempt to put 3 points on the board, this time from 30 yards out. He had a 42-yarder in the 1st quarter. Snap a little low, but well handled. Kick is punched up and good inside the right upright. So Poland opens the 2nd half scoring as it did the 1st half scoring with a field goal. And with 6:08 to go in the 3rd quarter, it's now Poland 13, Hubbard 7. This is the iHeartRadio TV Game of the Week on Armstrong.
Hi, Rob Fellman for Boardman Subaru, where we have one of the largest selections of the safest, most award-winning, and fuel-efficient vehicles on the road today. Subarus are rated the safest vehicles, period, with EyeSight technology that gives you an extra set of eyes on the road. KBB rates Subaru as the best overall brand. Most models get over 35 miles per gallon with automatic transmission and all-wheel drive. The all-new Boardman Subaru, just south of Route 224 on South Avenue.
Well, Poland just had a 40-yard scoring drive. It took 9 plays, 3 minutes and 57 seconds. Mike Kushner with a 30-yard field goal to boost the margin to 13-7. This kickoff is going to bounce just out of bounds. Didn't quite get to the cone. That was literally the width of the cone away from being a touchback.
Boy, Mikey Kushner very impressed tonight with the leg strength. Really getting that leg whip into it, stepping into the ball, driving it.
So Hubbard will get the ball at its own 35-yard line.
This is a case where now Hubbard, after having a good, basically second quarter offensively, has to get a little bit back to, I think they got away from what was successful in that first half. And that was in the pocket, utilizing Davion Daniels in the pocket to find receivers was where it was best. When they started rolling him out, things not going as good.
And especially rolling him out to the left as a right-handed thrower. Good pursuit by the Poland defense there. And Luke Masora is pulled down for a 2-yard loss.
Yeah, I just don't understand it, Jim. I mean, maybe I'm slow, but between Tyler Campbell, Scott Campbell, Nick Miller, the running game, except for some moments with Luke Masora finding space or they catch him just at that right moment, the running game has been non-existent. But Hubbard's offensive line has pass protected well.
Quick throw to the outside, a little bit of a, not panic there, but Daniels clearly was not able to get quite the angle he wanted on his intended receiver.
Well, you talk about that, and I know what you noticed there. It was his mechanics. And
yeah.
When people see it on Armstrong and they view this, and you look at that, his elbow dropped, he felt a little pressure, throwing off his back foot.
Yeah, his feet got really nervous. Yeah.
His feet got messed up, and once your mechanics get jacked up, like, you get in trouble.
3rd and 12. This has been Hubbard's problem much of the night, being in 2nd and 3rd and long. No chance.
He just got a running start off of that edge.
Blew right through the block and straight to the quarterback. That, I believe, was Nick Miller.
Yeah, I mean, Nick Miller just timed it as perfect as you could perfect off of the edge. The timing of the snap basically went past the tackle without basically an Olay coming right behind him, not giving Davion Daniels any type of time. And I don't really put that on the tackle because there's just moments that you just get it right.
Miller's 3rd sack of the season. That's pretty good. One of the officials there just kind of holding things up until Hubbard could get the 11th player on the field for the punt unit. Sidewinding end over end, taken by Diaz at the 45, bouncing off people, gets just about to midfield, and Luke Masora greets him.
Well, that young man Masora has been everywhere tonight for the Hubbard Eagles, making the Hubbard continue here at Alumni Field very proud.
29-yard punt, 4-yard return. Poland takes over at its own 49-yard line with 4:54 to go in the 3rd quarter, leading 13-7. Took over the ball at its own 47 last time, and to its credit, the Hubbard defense held in there and forced the Bulldogs to settle for a field goal. Cole Casco turns, gives the ball to Romano. Big hole, weaves his way through, breaks 2 tackles, and is finally stopped for good at the 36-yard line of the Eagles.
And Jim, I think the biggest difference, it's not that the Poland offense is not still good with Dante Romano, it's just different. When you have Spencer in there, it's more of, in my opinion, the home run threat. Whereas you're going to really grind some heavy yards with Romano with his spinning and really strong running. Oh.
More of same inside the 30 to about the 27. Romano is 5'8", 185. Spencer 5'10", 190. But their running styles are different.
Yeah, getting in beside, right underneath Carson Magny, the center of the Bulldogs. Carcelli at guard, beautiful.
Romano now over 100 yards rushing, still over 100, but not by as much. Nice play by Mr. Do-It-All, Luke Masora, who came into the ballgame with 100 tackles, and
We can see why.
we don't keep track of tackles, but he's added substantially to that total tonight. The loss there was about 2.
He's just so active, very low center of gravity, being able to get lost behind that big Poland offensive line, getting through, getting Romano before he had an opportunity to get started.
Cole Costco sets Ben Marucci in motion. And with that, we get another timeout.
They're just taking so long. That's the second timeout they've had to burn, Jim, because of the play clock. Just not getting it close. I mean, Coach Williams has had to call 2 now and burn them out.
Stops the game clock at 3:25 to go in the third quarter. Poland leading 13-7 on the iHeartRadio TV Game of the Week on Armstrong.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
Poland Bulldogs, Hubbard Eagles, 13-7 Poland, just under 3.5 to play. Third quarter, Poland 3rd and 3 at the Poland, just inside the Poland 30, and Romano again breaking tackles, bulls his way down inside the 10, 1st and goal, Poland at the 8.
Wow, his leg strength to just drag tacklers, keeps that head down, has also shown good ability to change direction.
That actually on his first carry of the night was fullback Alec Katsoulis, who had only carried the ball twice for 9 yards this season. Prior to that carry, there's a hard slamming run off left tackle that is stopped for very short yardage, and that was Ray Romano.
Joe Bednar, nice job. A sophomore for Coach Hoffman's Hubbard Eagles, being able to get through the guard center gap and make that play.
And hold it to about 1 yard, 2nd and goal from the 7. Romano again. Nope. Costco on the boot, scores. He doesn't run much, but he had the defense and the play-by-play guy fooled. That is his 3rd rushing touchdown of the season, but he had only rushed for 18 yards so far this season. That was a 7-yard run to pay dirt, and we have a Poland player down.
Going off that play action, really had Dante Ruzzo out in the flat. That's where it was designed to go. Just a case where elected just not to throw it to him and turn it up and got the score. Looks like an offensive lineman down for Poland, and I don't want to guess. I mean, it looked like number 70, Sabrin. We'll have to see.
And already down a lineman with
nope, not 70.
The loss of Feliciano. That was last week, however.
This would be very unfortunate for the Bulldogs. Obviously, any injuries are for high school teams because of depth and whatnot.
That is Drew Davies, tackle, 290-pound senior.
But obviously being down, as you had mentioned earlier, down with guard Alex Feliciano.
One thing I know Coach Williams is happy about, even though Poland has slipped into Division IV, they have pretty good numbers. Their senior and junior classes are good sized, and their feeder programs have good numbers as well. Looks like it might have been a shoulder problem, and looks like Davies may be able to return to duty. In the meantime, Mike Kushner on to attempt another extra point.
You know, you talk about their feeder units. I believe their 7th grade football team just went 7-1, which is usually a pretty good barometer of how things move on later, if you can keep those kids together.
Kushner with an extra point and a couple of field goals tonight. Now 7 for 8 on field goals and 40 of 42 on extra points. He is only a sophomore. Yike. Missed that one. He really attacked it.
And you hit it, Jim. Yeah, you hit it. I mean, like, see, it's that little nuance you noticed. It really looked like Mikey Kushner tried to get into it, where he really got a little bit off balance and tried to put a lot of foot behind it and maybe got a little bit sideways with the ball.
Yeah, and it even sounded funny, you know?
Yeah, like he punched it.
Yeah. Well, that was a 6-play, 51-yard drive for the Poland Bulldogs. It took 3 minutes and 16 seconds off the clock. It is still a 2-possession game. The lead is 12, so Hubbard very much in this, and although they go at things very differently than Lakeview, it was, Poland showed against Lakeview that a 2-score lead is not necessarily safe even late. Hubbard has, however, been limited to only 1 first down this half, although in fairness, or just as a point of observation, the first quarter wasn't very kind to them. The second quarter, they made good progress. Now the question is, has Poland made great adjustments that have been a factor here? Manetti coughs up the kickoff at the 5, chases it down at the 2, finds an alley up the sideline, and refusing to let him escape is Ben Marucci, and hauling him down short of the 30.
And unlike the first time in the first quarter or first half that Manetti had muffed a kickoff return, that one he was able to turn into something pretty good and get that Hubbard offense out into some decent field position.
27-yard return, and the Eagles take over at their own 29.
You know, and I think a lot of this game has been dictated by field position too, though. I mean, Poland has really had a huge advantage in field position.
Well, Hubbard stays put on the defensive shift. Quick flip out in the flat. Little swing to Manetti, and he crosses the 35 before being bumped out of bounds.
Little quick hitter to get the confidence back up for Davion Daniels. Can't say enough of how well, in most cases, this Hubbard offensive line hasn't been able to really run block very well at all tonight, but in pass protection, for the most part, except for a few isolated moments, they've done a nice job of creating a really beautiful pocket for Daniels to throw out of.
You wonder, too, because of not having Tyreek Moore, or how it has changed their read. You don't see Daniels going up to the line of scrimmage and putting the ball in, pulling it out, reading the line. It's been more of a conventional running attack, and that time it was a conventional stop by the Poland run defense for a loss of 1, and that'll bring up 3rd and 5.
And I think by Poland bringing back this 2 deep, with dropping their safeties back, basically splitting those hash marks and keeping them back, bringing the secondary back, really making more of a zone defense, trying to keep everything in front of them, has really made a change also.
Corners are within about 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. Daniels, little screen underneath. Nice catch by Manetti. He is slung out of bounds by Eric Shipsky, but it'll be good enough for a first down.
Boy, Manetti has made some tough catches tonight. He's had a little bit of trouble on the kickoff and the punt return fielding the ball, but boy, in space, catching balls, showing beautiful hands.
8-yard pickup to the 43.
And again, where's the success for Poland? With tonight, anyways, Davion Daniels, pocket created, sitting in the pocket and finding a receiver.
21 rushes for 13 yards as a team for Hubbard tonight. This is Manetti on the jet sweep. Skipped his way past the first tackler, but
I just don't understand. I mean, it's so simple. Scott Campbell is 3-4 yards into the backfield, turns him in, and then Nick Miller just crushes it for a loss of yards on a run. I mean, I know I'm being critical about it, but it just seems so obvious at this point from a layman. From a layman, me just looking at this like a fan. I don't know.
I'll have to take your word for it. 2nd and 11. 3 receivers to the right. Good rush coming. Daniel steps up, overthrows it, picked off by Mike Diaz, and he has got some wheels, headed down the far side. If he goes the distance, it's not going to count because there's a penalty marker down, back around the 30. If that would stand, if this penalty, however, is against Hubbard, that would be the 7th pick 6 of the year for the Poland defense, a 57-yard return. Let's see, the interception's going to stand. Let's wait and see if the return is going to hold up.
Diaz showed beautiful hands in that secondary, playing deep, keeping everything in front on a deep crossing route, trying to hit a receiver who's had a couple catches tonight in Dom Hoover. And it's a case, the rolling pocket, trying to put the quarterback on the move. Daniels throws high.
Yeah, and I thought Daniels actually did a good job stepping up into a collapsing pocket to deliver the ball, but didn't have that touch. Most of this run is coming back, and Poland will get the ball right at midfield.
And this will be a critical stop coming off that turnover that this Hubbard defense is going to need to get to keep this in some type of range.
So that will mean that Poland does not have its 7th pick 6 of the season.
Boy, and this Poland defense really has turned it on here in this 3rd quarter. Played really tremendous in position, making some plays in space.
I believe they're now +2 in the turnovers, which makes them +19 for the season. That was Dante Romano, and he got to the line of scrimmage and maybe a tinge more across midfield to bring up 2nd and 9.
Number 42, Tommy West, right in there on the play for the Hubbard Eagles. And there hasn't been many negative plays for this Poland offense, even when they've been stifled in the running game.
All right, teams are going to switch ends. Officials won't have much work to do. They've got to flip it 1 yard to the other side of the 50. We'll start the 4th quarter. Poland will have the football, leading Hubbard 19-7 on the iHeartRadio TV Game of the Week on Armstrong.
The history, the sports, the stories, the events. Armstrong Local Programming puts the focus on our community. Watch to learn about new events or discover the rich history of our area. You can find local programming on your local programming channel and on demand. Want even more? Subscribe to the Armstrong One Wire channel on YouTube. It's our town all the time with Armstrong Local Programming. One Wire, infinite possibilities.
12 minutes of football left at Alumni Field in Hubbard. The homestanding Hubbard Eagles trailing the Poland Bulldogs 19-7. Poland 2nd and 9 from the Hubbard 49. That is the jet sweep to Richard Bailey again. Doesn't get to the corner, decides to duck it up inside, gets maybe a yard. Hubbard defense did a good job getting a lot of people to the football that time.
Boy, and the one thing Poland really hasn't challenged with tonight in the previous games that we've seen them, Jim, is off of a play action or off the fake jet sweep, trying to hit Alessi deep. We've seen that quite a few times with the rangy receiver. Had a little case of the dropsies early, 4 drops early between multiple receivers for Poland, but stretching with Alessi has been pretty successful for them.
He averages 19 yards a catch. Throw over the middle intended for Diaz, picked off by Luke Masora. And a nifty little shake and bake return to the 42.
And just what the doctor ordered for the Hubbard Eagles, as Jim had called him earlier, a do-everything young man. Masora coming up with a sorely needed turnover for the Hubbard Eagles.
And that is only the 4th interception of the season thrown by Cole Costco, and that is the 2nd interception for Luke Masora. And again, a slow start for Cole Costco. He was 0 for 5 out of the gate tonight. He is 1 of 6 with 2 picks here in the second half so far. Masora gets the ball on offense, refuses to go down, ball pops free. Poland's going to get it.
And it was just a tremendous effort by Luke Masora, doing everything to gain extra yardage. There must have been 3 guys on him, just kept his legs churning at the end, gets the fumble, and Nathan Alessi picks it up for the Bulldogs.
Well, see, you said they needed to get the ball to Alessi. Guess what, though? There is a penalty marker down. It's behind the initial line of scrimmage. And the officials are conferencing, so let's see what's up. How often do you see that? I know it's almost a cliche when something like that happens. A guy that is second effort, third effort, fourth effort, and as he tries to make the fifth effort, the ball leaves him.
I mean, that's a young man leaving everything out on the field.
Absolutely.
Well, penalty on Bill Orr, something.
All right, so Poland's going to wind up with the football, but instead of having it near midfield, if we understood that correctly.
Hubbard ball.
Hubbard ball.
Wow, what a break. Well, and how about the irony in that Luke Masora comes up with the turnover, and then if that would have went through, had the turnover. What they taketh, they giveth away.
Short gain there, and once again it was Masora on the carry.
Well, not only that, Jim, we're getting into the area where Hubbard probably needs to really increase their tempo. With 10:37 on a running clock here, the Eagles have all 3 of their timeouts. Poland's burned up 2 of theirs, but you really got to start to get some more just plays in. Play clock down to 12.
Masora came into the ball game having rushed only 25 times all season. And he's got to be pushing that right now. They fake it to him. Minetti makes the catch, ducks a tackler, Mike Diaz, but plenty of help gets there in a hurry, and that play will go essentially for no gain.
I mean, super awareness that time by Diaz to read that coming up from his safety position. And he had started the squat up towards the line of scrimmage, but a beautiful read.
Actually lost one there. So it'll be 2nd down and 9. Masora has carried the ball, really?
3rd, actually.
Only 17 times? Oh, 8 times. I'm sorry. There's that shift. Play action to Masora. Deep throw, too deep. Bill Orr was the closest one to it, and it was Ryan Halovic who was the intended receiver.
And it really looked like there was some miscommunication because Halovic, excellent coverage by Orr, seemed to be taking more of a inside route, and it appeared obviously Daniels had thrown much more towards the outside shoulder, but again, as you had touched on, Bill Orr kept real good position, kept him in front of him, was closest to the receiver.
Well, because of the clock and the score, on 4th and 9 here at the Poland 44, Hubbard's going to line up to go for it. And again, that change of cadence and an offside would do a lot of help here. Ball slapped down at the line of scrimmage. He was looking for Ray Minetti underneath, who had Nick Miller in front of him, so I'm not sure that play would have gone for a 1st down anyway, but it goes as an incomplete pass, and Poland takes over on downs with just under 9.5 minutes to play.
And it's just a case where we talk about it so often. If you're not able, as a defensive lineman or a linebacker on the blitz, able to get to the quarterback and cause disruption that way, what's the next best way? And this typically happens on short drops, which is what Daniel's been doing. Just get your hands up. And that's the case where Alex Katsoulis did that and knocked the ball down.
Poland from its own 44. Romano with plenty of running room steps inside a tackler and drives down inside the 40-yard line.
I mean, and I think Nick Sabrin is still driving someone down the field. I mean, he blew off the ball, engaged with the linebacker, and he was 10 yards downfield. Woo!
Romano again, head down, plows to the 36 for a pickup of 3.
And I think a lot of this is so many of the young men, a lot of underclassmen for the Hubbard Eagles go both ways.
Yeah, and this defensive unit was not deep to start with.
Sure. And I think Poland has a little bit more depth with some guys that, especially along the offensive line, the big uns don't have to go both ways for the most part.
Yeah, we're seeing some guys that weren't on the 2 deep we were given. Romano breaks 2 tackles inside the 30, almost stepped through another one, and finally skids to a stop down near the 20.
And this is what typically happens. If you don't have the depth and you have a lot of guys that have to go both ways, you'll start to see runs that might have typically been 3, 4 yards start to stretch to 6, 7, 10, because you just don't have the strength to hold on like you did in the first half because of the tiredness, if that's even a word.
James Reese was the one that may have kept that from going for 6. Romano in behind the big fullback, takes a hit, spins off it, drives inside the 15 to the 12.
And I mean, number 44, Zach Ellis, sophomore Zach Ellis, just blew up the defensive end, kind of trying to crash in. He kicked out from the fullback position. Wow, we are seeing some strong run blocking now by the Poland front people.
Ellis is only a sophomore. Ooh. Looks bigger than the 185 they list him at. Romano again behind Ellis, breaks a tackle at the 10, turns it up, gets to the pay dirt. Looks like it. Yes, touchdown, Dante Romano.
I mean, Jim, a physicalness that we haven't seen in this game really took place on that. Lining up in 2 tight end set, getting your fullback out there, lead blocker, and they just started mauling people off the line of scrimmage.
And we have a Hubbard player down at the 10-yard line.
And obviously, that's just what a lack of depth does sometimes.
So the Bulldogs finally have some breathing room here. It now becomes a 3-score game. This looks like a cramp, whoever it is. They're stretching out his right leg. And for Dante Romano, his 11th rushing touchdown of the season, and he has now rushed for 162 yards on 23 carries tonight.
And they've been pretty brutish here in the second half. I mean, most of it has been in this second half, and that's what we were talking about. And you can almost see the confidence building up front on that offense, where the explosion off the line of scrimmage, off that hike, just getting off the ball faster.
Ray Minetti was the player who was not so much shaken up. It appeared that he had a cramp, which obviously was not. You hate to say it's not serious because they hurt like crazy. They're not serious if if someone else has them, I guess. That's the deal. Mikey Kushner will attempt the extra point. Missed his last one. Only his 3rd miss of the season. Snap, hold, got that little timing kick in there that he has and boots it over the band shell, bounced on the roof. So that one maybe should have counted for 2, make up for the last one. But with 7:33 to go, Poland now with some breathing room, leading the Hubbard Eagles 26-7 on the iHeart Radio TV Game of the Week on Armstrong.
Buick and GMC lessees. Get to the fall kickoff sale at the Stadium GM Superstore, where you can save thousands right now. Stop in for great lease deals like a new GMC Terrain from only $139 a month with 0 down. A new Buick Encore is now only $149 a month with 0 down. And a new Buick Enclave is now only $169 a month with 0 down. Plus, there is lease pull-ahead available and even 0% financing, which can save you thousands more. All at the store, where 0 down delivers every day. The Stadium GM Superstore in Salem.
Hi, Rob Bellman for Boardman Subaru, where we have one of the largest selections of the safest, most award-winning, and fuel-efficient vehicles on the road today. Subarus are rated the safest vehicles, period, with eyesight technology that gives you an extra set of eyes on the road. KBB rates Subaru as the best overall brand. Most models get over 35 miles per gallon with automatic transmission and all-wheel drive. The all-new Boardman Subaru, just south of Route 224 on South Avenue.
Poland getting ready to kick the ball away after driving 56 yards in 5 plays. Units a minute and 51 seconds. All 5 plays were running plays in the hands of Dante Romano, who scored from 13 yards out. Poland, after rushing for just 62 yards in the first half, has 144 here near the midway point in the second half as we reach not quite the midway point of the fourth quarter. Kushner kickoff, bounces it around the 9, and this one scoots through the end zone. Bounding past Dom Hover, and Hubbard will start from its own 20.
And this is one of those games that you could have thought was maybe a little bit of a trap game, coming off the huge game with Lakeview for position in the red division of the All-American Conference, with obviously the elephant in the room knowing that Canfield is the last game of the week, last game of the season, with all the playoff points, positioning for a home field game. And Poland's really answered tonight after a little bit of a sluggish start in the first half. Second half has come on strong defensively.
All right, a little late getting in was James Reese, got a hand signal from Davion Daniels, whose throw to Slovesko goes incomplete. Slovesko slipped as he stopped and tried to make a cut.
Good coverage nonetheless that time by number 24, Bill Orr.
Slovesko, a 215-pound junior, so he'll be a great guy to have back next year. This team, this Hubbard team, is going to have some experienced veterans next year. There's that big defensive shift again. This is Daniels. Jukes his way to the outside, slows up, tries to find a little blocking help, and winds up being bumped out of bounds near the 30-yard line. Short of the first down, but close.
Yeah, something they really haven't run that much since the first half. Almost got a safety on that same type of play where they were down deep inside basically the 2-yard line.
9-yard pickup, ball at the 29, so it's 3rd and 1 for the Eagles.
At least it's more manageable.
They have not had much success on first down all night long. They bailed themselves out with some plays. This is Masora. He punishes some folks up front, maybe in both colored uniforms, on the way to about a 4-yard pickup and a first down.
That is a bruising young man as a runner.
And he plays on defense as a linebacker. He's their leading tackler, and he returns kicks.
Yeah, we had touched on it a little bit as we were looking down on the play sheets that you had talked about. Really an underclassman-laden team. A lot of guys starting that are underclassmen that don't gain their sea legs for next year.
Fake to Masora, flip out to Manetti. Oops, Campbell underneath, and then I think they get a horse collar there.
Yeah, just really grabbed him by the back and brought him down. I mean, it was something, the way he grabbed him. But obviously you're reaching out, you're trying to make the tackle. I mean, 3 years ago, that's not a penalty.
That's true.
It's really become a tremendous point of emphasis over the last couple years. I mean, we used to see tackles like that, and we'd always just talk about, wow, that is really incredible hand strength to just grab a guy and just pluck him out of the air, basically, and stop him.
The penalty pushes the ball to the 49-yard line, the 15-yard penalty. So Hubbard out near midfield now, under 7 minutes to play. Ooh, great rush, and Daniels, who wanted to throw near side, ducked under it and plunges across midfield. for a gain of 2.
When he had felt that, and it was really actually very good vision, I felt, on Davion Daniels' part, feeling the pressure of Nick Miller coming off the side, had gotten his hands up almost to block the ball as he was trying to throw that outside screen, tucked it in and ran, fought another play.
2nd and 8.
Time really an enemy here of the Eagles.
Yeah, at this point you wonder if it comes down to let's execute as well as we can with as many snaps as we can between now and the end of the game. Daniels trying to scramble out of trouble. Oh, that could be intentional grounding. He was on his way down and just kind of threw the ball up in the air. After a discussion, they're going to throw the late flag for intentional grounding.
Yeah, just a youngster making a mistake, trying to make a play, didn't want to get the sack, trying to buy time on the play. You know, no yelling or screaming on
Nope.
Coach Hoffman's part, just a little pat on the back, and, you know, he'll learn from it as an underclassman, even next week. I mean, if you take what you did there and you learn and you remember that and you store that in your memory not to do it again, it was in some ways probably worth it.
3rd and 22. Minetti in motion. Daniels, straight drop, screen. Masora, beautiful tackle at the 40-yard line. Very nicely done. 1-on-1.
You got it, buddy. Cole Lavarini.
Cole Lavarini.
Just number 9 for the Bulldogs. Did everything you'd want. I mean, the Hubbard offensive line actually did a pretty good job of selling that. But Lavarini, because Poland was trying to keep everything in front of them, they had only had a 3-man rush. So there were naturally just a bunch of guys back waiting to keep everything in front, and Lavarini just happened to be the one there.
Anthony Corrin, who split punting duties with Davion Daniels in the first half and had the better numbers. Can get this one away. Spiral, not real deep. Hits at the 30. Goes right between the legs of Ryan Halovic. Picked up by Mike Diaz in a gutsy move, and he's pulled down very quickly, though, at the 24-yard line.
And, Jim, I can't imagine that Coach Williams, and when they look back on film, that they'll go over that with Diaz and just say, the juice, you know, it's really not worth it. It's not worth what could potentially happen in that position. Maybe not tonight. Maybe next week. Maybe week 11.
36-yard punt and essentially a 1-yard loss on the return as Poland takes over at its own 23-yard line. Cole Costco remains at quarterback. Zach Ellis is the fullback, and this is Richard Bailey.
When that's
kind of interesting. He's a speed back, and he hasn't had much success going wide, so they run him right up the gut, and he gets about 5.
And you hit it, Jim. I mean, that's really the first time that they've given Richard Bailey an opportunity to run in the manner that they had given Dante Romano, where it's basically getting up behind an enormous offensive line, even though a little bit injury rung, and just giving an opportunity to find the hole inside.
Bailey was averaging almost 8 yards a carry coming in. Going to get another one here, and had a nice place to run right off the guard tackle hole on the left side, and lunges out to about the 35 and a first down.
Boy, and if Luke Masora wouldn't have got his hand out just to trip enough.
They're actually going to mark him a tad short.
Yeah, it looked like his knee had hit earlier, but as he was lunging forward, almost lunged 2-3 yards ahead. Not going to get credit for it, though.
3rd and less than 1, 4 minutes exactly to play in the football game. Costco loses the snap. And it looks like Bailey fell on it.
You know, and I think it's a case where Costco might have pulled out a little bit early. I think they were trying to go on a quicker snap and just pulled out a little bit early.
So they go from 3rd and short to 4th and 4 now.
All in all, though, I think it's been a pretty decent showing tonight by the Poland Bulldogs as a wake-up call after last week's defeat at Lakeview.
Wobbly spiral, taken and dropped by Masora, picks it back up. He had called for a fair catch, and they're going to count it down at the 43-yard line.
And I think more than anything, defensively, Poland pretty much got back, except for a blip in that second quarter of the passing game of Davion Daniels. They've gotten back to playing some pretty good defense, as evidenced by only giving up 7 points here in this game.
29-yard punt, no return. Hubbard takes over with just over 3 minutes to play. And in truth, the field position that Poland has had tonight for until just that last possession to keep Poland under 20 points, the Hubbard defense says a lot. Nice completion there to Ryan Halovic and Kincaid Marakovic. A nice one-on-one tackle, holds it to a 1-yard gain.
You know, Jimmy, you look at Hubbard's schedule and what they've played, losing to Lakeview 7-6. They've really struggled against good teams to be able to put points up, except for the Girard game, which, I mean, everyone's in a shootout with Girard. Just has struggled against Howland, only 6.
Throw to the outside, just behind Manetti, who could not reach back and make the play. Making a diving interception attempt was senior cornerback Dom D'Annunzio.
Only scoring 14 against an incredibly physical Struthers Wildcat team.
Yep.
That Division 4, I mean, that's going to be a war, buddy. That's going to be an interesting region to get out.
And
obviously with Big Red at the top of it.
Right.
But a lot of locals there, Jim.
Yep. And some of them are going to be looking for revenge because they're going to have rematches with folks that maybe they didn't do well against the first time. This will not be good enough for a first down. The gain will leave Hubbard about 4 yards short.
Oh, and there's some good sportsmanship. Luke Masora fell on the ground, and his shoulder pad came out of his jersey, and one of the Poland players showing a little bit of sense of good sportsmanship, helping him tuck it back in, give him a little pat on the butt.
This is, from that standpoint, as intense as it has been a cleanly played football game in terms of the physical nature of it. Not so clean sometimes in the mental aspect with some of the penalties, but we get a late timeout call. Yes, by Poland.
Yeah, you're right.
It's a timeout on the field. I think we're all caught up. So
yeah, you're right. I mean, you haven't seen the chippiness. You know, it's been physical, but it's been very well played.
Well, I get.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
Right tackle, Anthony Schaefer, the 6'7", 270-pounder, number 76, kind of hobbling out there to his position, out of the huddle, 4th and 4. Blitz coming, underthrown, and Cole Lavarini had an interception right in his hands. It would have been his second. It gets away, and Hubbard turns it over on downs.
And a beautiful break on the ball. I mean, because that ball was coming with some heat from Davion Daniels, and Lavarini really got out of his back pedal, turned back. Good break on the ball to tip that away.
So Poland will get the ball at the Hubbard 49-yard line, and they'll just be playing out the string here. They have no timeouts left. Hubbard has 3, but I can't imagine they will have cause to use any of them.
When this will set Poland up to really move ahead to the game that, boy, a lot of the Mahoning Valley has been waiting for basically about 4 or 5 weeks now.
You'll hear that one on iHeartRadio on Friday, the 27th.
And not because we're not going to be doing Poland again for this year or Campfield, it looks like. It would be criminal to stop that rivalry. You know, if they don't play that. And truthfully, in my opinion as a fan, if they don't make it work in Week 10, shame on all of them. Because when Kent McKinley went to the Fed, they found a way to keep Massillon McKinley in Week 10.
Yeah.
They found a way.
It's a matter of will at that point.
Sure. It would be criminal for them not to do. I mean, a rivalry game of that stature, of those two suburban schools, I mean, it deserves the time slot of week that.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing, though. With all the conference reshuffling that has kind of accelerated here over the last decade or so, there have been some rivalries which have been interrupted or gone by the wayside. There have been some efforts recently to reestablish, a couple of those. But this should be the last snap of the game, and it will be a take the knee, and that'll be the ball game. So with a strong Bulldog-esque second half, Poland secures its 8th win in 9 outings this season, and Hubbard now will need a win in its Week 10 contest to finish at 500 on the campaign, dropping to 4-5 with this loss. Final score in Hubbard tonight. The homestanding Eagles fall to the Poland Bulldogs 26-7. We'll wrap it up for you in just a minute.
Still trying to decide between EXP and satellite? Let's take a look at the facts. Only EXP from Armstrong offers award-winning local customer support and free service calls with no contracts and no early termination fees. EXP also includes Zoom Internet, the area's fastest, plus an intuitive user interface powered by TiVo for the ultimate TV experience. As you can see, when it comes to EXP versus satellite, there's just no comparison. EXP from Armstrong, this changes everything.
Well, during its first 7 games of the season in which Poland was undefeated, it scored a ton of points, but really lived on its defense. And tonight, that defense limited Hubbard, which was in the ballgame at halftime, to just 46 total yards in the second half and only 23 yards rushing in the entire game. So they're in stretch run mode, it looks like.
There's no doubt. I mean, obviously not having Tyreek Moore for Coach Hoffman really hurt the Hubbard Eagles, but between Tyler Campbell, Scott Campbell, Nick Miller, the defensive front for Poland really stepped it up in the second half, caused some disruption, stopped the running game, really got back to what they do, playing really strong defensively.
Poland played without Jonah Spencer, its number 1 running back, but Dante Romano more than picked up the slack with 162 yards rushing, and a lot of them were just pure grit, so they have a great 1-2 punch headed down the stretch.
They do. I mean, if they can get Spencer truly healthy for the stretch run, it'll be a big difference, but the main thing is, can they get their offensive lineman? Lost another one tonight. We'll see how that plays out, but if they can get their offensive line ready for Week 10, Week 11, should be a fun thing.
All right, that means Week 10 is coming up, and for us, that means a game between Boardman and Lakeside. At Boardman, we'll hopefully, I was going to say we'll see you, but you'll see us for that one. In the meantime, for Mario DiMartino, our statistician Len Gessler, and our producer, cinematographer, editor, and everything else Armstrong, Craig Roten, I'm Jim Campbell. Thanks for joining us for this one. This has been the iHeartRadio TV Game of the Week on Armstrong.